I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11 Alive Weather Impact Team, and thanks for joining us for this extended weather outlook here as we're tracking not only the rain that we have in our area tonight. We're going to look ahead to what type of rain chances we're going to have into the weekend, and we're also going to give you the latest that we have in on Hurricane Erin that is out in the Atlantic, and it is getting stronger. We'll take a look at that coming up in just a minute, but we have some areas out there right now who are dealing with rain and even some thunderstorms. I know it's a Friday night. A lot of people like to be outside doing things on Friday night. We've got high school football going on in areas tonight, and it's one of those situations where not everybody is getting hit. Not every football stadium is getting some rain, but some are. That's the scattered nature of these showers that we have. And right now, the bulk of the heavier rain, or the more pockets of better coverage of rain, is up in parts of Gwinnett County now, and then over to the east of us between Athens and down toward the Madison area, really between Athens and Lake Oconee, and then even heavier showers, excuse me, out to the east here, I-20, over toward the Thompson area, getting closer to Augusta, where we've got a lot of lightning with those too. Now, often at this time, when we see here plenty of moisture within the atmosphere, we see a lot of stuff developing around the radar site. This is not actually rain coming down here on the south side. Those are just some false echoes that we have there happening right now on the south side. But let me show you here closer to the city. This is actually light rain along 85 north and east of the city, moving up toward the Spaghetti Junction. Continuing up 85, we see some additional showers there, some of those pretty heavy right along and just to the west or north and west of 85, getting closer to Norcross, Duluth, those areas there where we see some of that heavier rain. But again, nothing really too heavy over us now. Here's what we're watching with this area of rain. Now, this was more impressive a little bit earlier. What we have been seeing tonight with these showers is that they will pulse up and give us some really heavy rain, thunder and lightning, and then they pretty much rain themselves out. And this is in the raining itself out process right now. We had some reds with this earlier and a lot more lightning. Still some lightning strikes with this, but this is now weakening as that system continues to move on. Really, it's not moving too much at all. It's generally just going pretty slow here, pretty much stationary in those areas. We're also watching this rain that is over to the east of us. Now, this also dumped a lot of rain in Athens there in Clark County. Look at Oconee County here. We still have some moderate to heavy rain there from Watkinsville down to Elder. Once you get down into Greene County, this is where we have more heavy rain and also some thunder and lightning, as well as here into Morgan County. That's out the I-20 and just to the north of I-20. We had some heavier showers earlier in northeast Georgia up 85 north. Also, we had showers and storms in Rabun County, Habersham County earlier and over into Stevens County. But look at this green polygon right here. That is where we have a flood warning that remains in effect until just after midnight. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if the Weather Service cancels this early, but we did have some evidence of flash flooding up around the Cleveland area. This is for parts of northern Hall County and into White County, where we see this watch that is in effect. And again, it's because of the heavy rain that we had earlier. I shared a few pictures on social media that Danielle Moss had originally shared. I shared her post of some flooding that was happening in the downtown Cleveland area, and there were other sporadic spots there in parts of White County where we had some of that flooding. Take a look at our Doppler radar. It can estimate how much rain has fallen here. And where you see the purples and then especially the reds indicating some spots that have seen more than 2 inches of rain estimated there by Doppler radar. And then the purples show where we've had 1 to 2 inches of rain in spots. And then the blue color out beyond that shows a ½ inch to 1 inch or more in spots. So there have been a lot of areas tonight where just some of these showers really developed there and then rain themselves out, but it would leave a lot of rain there left behind. Here is what we're watching over to the east side. That's where most of the rain is falling right now. While we're over in this area, I want to take you over to this. Let's go into live mode here right now, and you'll be able to kind of see this a little bit better here. As we zoom in, I'm going to show you there's a lot of lightning over on the east side right now. And I'm going to include this little bit in Gwinnett and take you all the way over toward Augusta. And it's showing 254 lightning strikes in the past 15 minutes. And most of that is from this right here, out toward Warrenton, between Washington and Warrenton, where we have that heavier rain that has been coming down there in those areas. And then I also want to show you what we are watching here over to the east of us. And this is an example of what we've been watching here tonight with how these showers and storms pulse up. In Cobb County here, a little bit earlier, absolutely nothing was going on. And then all of a sudden this happened. Boom, just right there. That storm just blossomed up with heavy rain, thunder and lightning, and then it rained itself out and disappeared. A few of those showers made it over to Truist Park. And then there you see these over in Lawrenceville, how I was telling you just a moment ago, how those storms are now in the process of raining themselves out. Look how these fired up. We saw a lot of red and thunder and lightning with that. Now the red is gone. We have just generally some yellows there, and that's going to go to green as we're seeing that lightning up there in those areas too of Gwinnett County. So things are going to start calming down. It's just a lot more active here over on the east side where we see some of that heavier rain coming through. Here is a live view right now of what we are watching over in Smyrna at Truist Park. Of course, the Braves are in Cleveland tonight, I believe. They're not at home, but the lights are on there at Truist, and you can see some of the raindrops on the lens from some of the showers that we had there just a little while ago. But things are beginning to calm down there in the Smyrna area. Here is a live view in Athens. We're looking over North Campus right here, the downtown area here. You can see the arch right here going into North Campus. The lights are on at Sanford Stadium. This is the first weekend that students are there. You know, they started classes this week. And so I'm sure a lot of students are there in Athens this weekend, and they're dealing with rain if they're going down to the downtown area tonight. And those showers will be tapering off just a little bit as well. All right. Let's take a look at what we're watching right now with Hurricane Erin. And Erin was upgraded to a hurricane around mid-morning today. And that was with winds of 75 miles an hour. The 2 o'clock update came in. It was still at 75-mile-an-hour winds. Then those winds started increasing. And right now, they are at 85 miles an hour. And you can see the storm right here, a little bit more than right around 300 miles away from the northern Leeward Islands. And that's where we have a couple of tropical storm watches in effect for some islands there as the storm is trying to get a little bit closer to them. We don't think the eye of the storm will make a direct landfall on the northern Leeward Islands. However, the northern islands there, also over toward Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands, they need to be aware of some outer bands that'll be moving in. They'll give them some heavy rain. They are going to have some wind there and rough surf in those islands, even though we don't think it's going to be a direct hit. Here is a look at the actual track of what we're talking about here. Category 1 right now, winds at 85 miles an hour. That's going to keep getting stronger, tomorrow becoming a Category 2, later Saturday becoming a Category 3, and then going into Sunday through Wednesday, most likely maintaining Category 4 strength. Earlier, the modeling was showing at our 11 o'clock update that this would get up to a Cat 4 briefly and then go back to a 3. But now with the update that came in at 5 and then this intermediate update at 8 o'clock, it shows the Cat 4 holding together there for days through at least Wednesday. Now here's Bermuda right here, and then of course you've got the Outer Banks of North Carolina there. So again, not a direct landfall on any land masses here as it goes up into the Atlantic and then most likely going to be curving away. But remember, this is a strong storm. Bermuda will be on the right-hand side, the right-hand quadrant of that. So they're going to get the worst of it, we think, in Bermuda. But still, there will be some impacts here along the southeastern coastline. Here's a look at those alerts. Barbuda was taken out of the tropical storm watch, but still many of these islands are in it. St. Martin is still included in there. Anguilla still included, as well as some other islands there on that northern part of the Leeward Islands. Here's a look at the spaghetti model plots, again showing that curve taking place. And the models, you know, earlier these models were pretty spread apart here, but now they're becoming a little more consistent there, showing that curve and then moving up toward the north and also to the east. Now here's a look at some of the potential impacts of what we're watching. This is a look at the winds in association with this storm. So As it moves across the northern Leeward Islands, they are actually north of them, and also Puerto Rico, Hispaniola here. But you see how those winds extend far out from the center. The tropical storm force winds extend more than 100 miles out from the center. And so they're going to see some winds there along the Bahamas. That's the entire Bahama chain right here. So they'll be experiencing some winds, even though the eye of the storm won't move over the Bahamas. Then this is what I want you to watch. Now, a lot of people are saying, okay, the eye's not going to hit the U.S. We don't need to worry, right? Well, you don't need to worry, but there will be some impacts on the southeastern coastline. There's the center of the storm. It's going to move up like this, but look at these winds here. Even some breezes along the Georgia coastline, and that will enhance some rough surf coming into the Georgia coast, the South Carolina coast, and those winds are going to be stronger there along the North Carolina coast and even up toward Virginia and the mid-Atlantic region before it finally pulls away. So anybody going to the Atlantic coast here in the southeast, from North Florida to Georgia to the Carolinas to the mid-Atlantic region, I want you to be prepared for some breezes, but the main threat is going to be that rough surf and rip currents that are going to be there in those areas. Here's a look at your almanac for today, where temperatures made it up into the mid-90s, 95 degrees here this afternoon. That was hot. Our low this morning was 76. Now, even though that 95 was hot, it's not a record. The record for today's date is 102. We picked up almost a quarter of an inch of rain at Hartsfield-Jackson. We had a ground stop at Hartsfield-Jackson earlier with some showers and storms that were moving through. Visibility was lower, but it didn't last too long. It was lifted, and now things are pretty much back to normal at Hartsfield-Jackson. We're at about 3/4 of an inch below average, or below where we should be in rainfall for the year. Our temperatures this morning were in the mid 70s, and then there's how we rose up in the middle of the afternoon to those mid 90s, and then some showers nearby dropped those temperatures down to 80 degrees here at 6 o'clock tonight. Right now, we're at 78, mainly 70s around. Some rain-cooled air has helped to keep those temperatures there a little bit on the not as hot side. Normally at this time of night, we're still holding in the 80s. And then through the day on Saturday, this is going to kind of populate here, and you'll see the tiers coming up here. We start off in the 70s, and then we get up into the 90s again tomorrow, right around 92 degrees for that high temperature. And seeing those rain chances at about 30% coming back into our area for your Saturday afternoon. Here's the forecast track. You can see those spotty showers that are out there tonight. Those are going to be diminishing during the late night hours. See how they go away tomorrow morning. Not a bad start to the day. It'll be a mild start here on Saturday. In the afternoon, lunchtime, a couple of clouds mixing in. And then late afternoon, scattered to more isolated showers. That rain chance only at 30%. I think a lot of us will get through the day without any rain at all. Through the evening, that dies out. Sunday, rain chances most likely even a little bit lower here. Dry for the first part of the day. In the afternoon, just a little bit of activity trying to pop up here, that 20% chance that you'll see a shower or two around. And then Monday, we're going to hold on to that 20% chance for some afternoon showers. You see there that it's not really widespread. So there's the 30% Saturday, 20% Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, back to 30% on Wednesday. And look at these temperatures. Yeah, it's going to be pretty hot. We're talking about 92 for a high Saturday and Sunday. How about 94 on Monday? Now, I know that looks hot, but remember today we hit 95. So back to 94 on Monday, 93 Tuesday, then 92 degrees here for your Wednesday. Here's a look at the European model going into the extended outlook, and you see how we still have just this moisture that's over us, and we're going to, even though with a 20% chance for rain, these models showing a little bit of activity around. Monday, not a lot of rain, nothing really widespread. We do see those rain chances starting to come back up a little bit, and hey, look at this. This is Erin, the European model, keeping it still off the coastline there, but you can see we're going to be on the drier side of the system, but still watching some potential for some Atlantic moisture coming in, enhanced by the hurricane with some showers off of the coast, and then of course the wind there and the rough surf as well. And then those rain chances coming back up once we get toward the middle and end of the week to 30% chance for showers. So 30% on Saturday, highs near 92. Then we're going to see 20% Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, with those temperatures trending up just a little bit. 94 Monday, 93 on Tuesday, 92 Wednesday, 90 on Thursday, with the rain chance back up to about 30%. And then how about this? 88 for a high on Friday, still dealing with some of those scattered showers that'll be around in our area. We hope that you have enjoyed this extended live update here on 11 Alive Plus and Weather Impact 24/7. We'll have another update for you tonight at 11 o'clock, and at 11 we'll have the new forecast track in for Hurricane Erin, so we'll share that with you. Plus, we'll have more updates here throughout the weekend for you, and weather content as well, as we're tracking not only our local weather, but everything going on with Hurricane Erin out in the Atlantic.